Get down, hide. Bernadette Dennis recalls whispering to her sister after seeing headlights streak across the wall. It was late. Bernadette knew it was Dad. They were supposed to be home.
We didn't want to get into trouble and go home because we were supposed to be home, so we stayed hidden in the house.
Just teenagers hanging with friends in an empty house next door. Stanley Peters calls out to his daughter. No reply. He drives away. Bernadette would never hear or see her father again.
That night never leaves my mind, my dreams. If I was home, if we were home to open the door, then maybe Dad would have stayed home. And then he wouldn't be gone, disappeared. A lot of it is guilt, knowing that if we opened the door, then he would be with us still.
What happened to Stanley Peters? Story goes, he was a victim of a hit and run, struck and killed here at this crossing in the village of Mount Currie. There was a trial. A man went to prison, but Peters' body never was found. That night, Peters left his home in Darcy and drove the 40 kilometers to Mount Currie. The two communities are part of the Lillooet Nation, a 2.5-hour drive north of Vancouver. Mountainous, remote, its ancient beauty hides dark secrets. Secrets that some in this small, tight-knit community have answers to. Where is Stanley Peters' body? Over the years, the family have received many tips. Each tip sends the family out into this vast territory with hopes they find the remains of their father.
A lot of times my dreams are knowing Dad is missing, knowing he's gone. When I see him in the dream, I'm like, Dad, where have you been? And, so then he wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't sometimes look, so that's where a lot of times my dreams, it seems like he's mad at me, but because he's not talking or letting us know where he is. And yeah. Every time we searched each area, we went back maybe 2 times, 3 times, 4 times.
Bernadette Dennis is the oldest of 3 daughters. Sally Peters is next in line. Lisa Peters is the baby of the family.
We still continue to search for our dad whenever we can, and we just marked it on the map.
Bernadette Dennis has many fond memories of her dad, despite not living with him. Her parents divorced when she was a child, living with her mother and stepdad, moving a lot throughout the province. Nequaqua was home. It's where she felt grounded, going home to visit her dad and grandparents on holidays. She remembers the time on the land, dip net fishing at summer camp. In Nequaqua, she and her sisters visit with their uncle, Stanley's brother Mark.
We went, me and my brother Stanley went way up there. We took about 6 kids up there back in the day.
I keep trying to make it up there.
No, yeah.
Well, we do.
One of these days we'll make it up, for sure.
We're going to have to hurry so that we're not older and out of shape.
Yeah.
All these dots just show. Wow. It's taken me a long time to feel anything. Dad and I were so close that I thought, well, wouldn't I feel or have that feeling and know that our dad is gone, passed on.
Sally was only 2 when her parents divorced. Her father was a drinker. At first, their mother wouldn't let the girl see him. She would beg and cry to no avail, until one day her mom said okay. Visits became more regular. She was Daddy's girl. She remembers fishing and spending extra time with him picking mushrooms to sell to restaurants. She was 14 when he went missing. Until recently, she couldn't accept that he was dead.
It wasn't until maybe a few years ago, I was listening to music on my phone and I came across a song that Dad listened to all the time. And all of a sudden I just broke down and cried really hard, like right from the gut hard. And then I decided, okay, well, I need to write my feelings down to Dad right now and go to the water and read it and then burn it. I smudge when Bernadette brings her smudge to us. I've never gone to elders or anybody, but that was the only time I've ever done anything for myself.
And it was mentioned that he was brought there.
In this area, and I crossed the river when I was, I think, 6-7 months pregnant. I wasn't taking no for an answer to go and help and search. I went. I wasn't going to get left behind.
Lisa Peters, just a baby when her parents split up. She had a complicated relationship with her father. Rumors that she was not his kid put a wedge between them. When the 2 older girls went to live with him, she stayed behind.
Where we're at right now is the location of where our dad was hit and run. The tree that you see in the background is where I come to hang his pattern that he used to wear. I leave things there on his birthdays or on the day that he went missing. The sisters and I come here very often, smudge and pray for him to help us locate where he is. Knowing this is where my dad was last seen, it helps bring us together to go and search for his remains.
Stanley Peters went missing in 1987. He was 37 years old. The papers picked up on the story 4 years later. The headlines were stark. Police had charged 2 men in February 1992. Dennis Williams charged with hit and run, Lawrence Pascal charged with obstruction of justice. In the papers, RCMP Sergeant Harry McLaughlin laid out the story. A tipster broke the code of silence. Including Williams, 6 people were in the vehicle when Peters was struck. This is what the family believes happened. Early in the morning of November 7th, 1987, Stanley Peters was at a house party. He left alone and walked down this road. He crossed the highway and was set to hitchhike home to Darcy. At the same time, a truck filled with young people left the community dance. Bernadette tells us what happened next.
There was a wedding that night. They had a dance, so usually people come together. It was said that that truck that hit our dad left from that dance.
The driver didn't have insurance. He stayed off the main road and followed this route, ending up at the same road Peters had just walked down. The truck crossed the highway, struck Peters, and sent him flying across this road.
So this spot we're just passing is where our dad was hit. And it's by the tree where he was hitchhiking home the night he was hit and went missing.
The truck stopped. They checked on Peters. A heated argument started. When they realized he was dead, the question was what to do with him.
It was said that he was put under a cardboard box in the ditch here along this area, and just across on our right was an auto wrecker yard, and it was also mentioned that they put him in the trunk of a car until they can come back and deal with him.
The family began to search. At first, it was Stanley's parents, Rosie and Stanley Sr., that took on that responsibility.
February 26, 92. In 87, I started looking for my son. I went to the RCMP and reported that my son was missing. After a while, we started hearing all kinds of different rumors. Many nights I couldn't sleep, so I prayed the rosary all night. The nights were long. Just when I get to sleep, time to get up. I dream about my son 4 times. How I wish they were true.
Then officers came to her door with news no mother wants to hear.
When the RCMP finally came to see us, they tell us my son was hit and buried in a shallow grave somewhere, and these 2 boys are being charged. I was bottled up. I couldn't cry for a while, and I began to feel hurt in my chest, so I let go. I gathered my children and talked to them. No violence, no revenge. Revenge wouldn't bring back your brother, and to be forgiving.
With some of them I can talk to, I'm friends with. Some of them are a part of my family.
Lisa Peters has lived here most of her adult life. Encountering those she believes are keeping secrets from her has been hard.
A lot of them that I see either walk the other way or just totally ignore me. Or
Mount Currie has a population of just over 1,000 people. In 2005, the sisters reached out to the chief and council, asking assistance with establishing a reward to help find their father's remains. They wrote then, and believe still, Lawrence Pascal knows where the remains are. Pascal lives 2 doors down from Sally Peters. We knocked on his door to see if he'd agree to an interview. Hello. Do you talk to Sal at all? You guys live so close together.
No, once in a while when I see him, that's about it. But I went through court with the whole thing, and then they threw me out of court, so.
Do you feel the story's done then for you? That was it?
I don't think so. He still disappeared. I don't know what happened to him. A lot of Trail of Tears, eh? Same difference. A lot of missing people.
Yeah, those sisters, they want some answers. I guess if you know, if you could talk to Sal, what would you say to her?
No, I don't want to talk to you about it.
Pascal later waved us down as we were leaving. Okay, let me get out here.
Oh, I just get a card.
Here, I gotta write it down, man. Don't have a card.
Write what down?
My
Is that you
information.
giving me a card?
No, I gotta write down the information. I don't have a card.
Oh, that's okay then. APTN is APTN.
Here. It's important to keep in mind that Lawrence Pascal was not convicted of any charges in the death or disappearance of Stanley Morris Peters. Since expressing her concerns to Chief and Counsel in 2005, Bernadette has, on occasion, spoken and corresponded with Pascal, even picking him up hitchhiking. APTN also tried to make contact with Dennis Williams. He lives 10 minutes outside of Mount Currie, just down Highway 99 on this property. We wanted to ask him about the night that Stanley Morris Peters was struck and killed. We never got the chance. We're here doing a documentary on Stanley Morris.
Okay.
And we're just wondering if Dennis wants to...
He doesn't.
Oh, okay.
So, thank you.
Oh, so we have the right place.
You do?
Okay. All right. And can I get your name?
Nope.
Okay.
You can leave.
All right. Thank you. March 29, 1994, Dennis Williams was charged with hit and run. Lawrence Pascal was charged with obstruction. When the arrests were made, police were confident they knew where the body was. RCMP searched at least 2 locations for the unmarked grave. Despite bringing in their top forensic archaeologist, they struck out. The family has heard rumors the body is moved when word gets out about its location.
How would you feel too, you know, if that happened, that you can never catch up to what you're looking for?
4 decades later, Stanley's dad still dreams about his son.
Hi, Grandpa.
Stanley Peters Sr. is in his 90s now.
Love you.
I have dreams, you know, and the old people says, you know, he's trying to tell them, just go on with your life and yours will lighten up. But it seems like we can't do that, you know, because it's in your system now.
Since Peter's disappearance, the family began receiving tips that Stanley was seen alive. It sent them across North America, searching in vain.
Oh, I went all over. My wife and I went from here, states, way up north as far as I can go.
He believes now they received false information from the people involved, people in the community.
What hurt me more was, you know, they were nice people and everything like that, but they drank, you know, and when they ran over my Stanley.
On November 16th, 1994, Williams was found guilty. He spent 18 months in jail. Williams admitted he was driving the vehicle, striking a person, sending the victim flying 60 feet. A passenger in the truck, Justin Nelson, testified Williams got the others to agree to remain silent. He left the scene but came back an hour later. The body had disappeared.
You get 14 months for killing my son, you know, that's a dirty thing. I said, you know, you guys admit you've done it and everything like that, you're all drunk.
A witness happened upon the scene. John Jones testified he saw Pascal drag a body across the Birkenhead River and threatened to kill anyone who talked. The judge ruled Jones's testimony was not reliable because Jones was intoxicated. Pascal was found not guilty. In his judgment, Justice Edwards hoped anyone with information would come forward to allay the grief of the Peters family, noting the community has suffered considerable anxiety and tension. Over the years, dozens and dozens of tips have been received, but it's hard to discern what's in good faith and what is misinformation.
We were told from that very first night that one person alone carried our dad's body across the river and hid his body on the island area.
Disturbing rumors that their father's body may have been put in this wood waste burner or buried under this old bridge.
We were told that they put him underneath the bridge.
Another tip sent the sisters out to a place called Hindu Flats. People in the truck that night were seen here standing around with shovels. The family doesn't take rumors as fact. There is skepticism towards what they hear. The multiple searches are a reaction to what they are told. It puts in sharp focus the ongoing heartache and pain suffered by a family desperate for closure. For the sisters, it's a horror show. They can only hope someday someone will tell them the truth.
Every clue that we get, we hope that this is it. We're gonna find him, but we still haven't.
This past November, members of the Lillooet community joined the family in Mount Currie to honor their father's memory and take part in ceremony.
Today is all about Stanley Morris Peters Jr. You know, we're taking care of his spirit.
Just have to learn how to believe in the prayer, believe in each other and take care of one another. We will get there. Kukstamukhalap and Snuknuka, I love each and every one of you.
We're going to be calling his spirit I'm going to use this tie. Thank you.
This was done in order to walk Stanley Peters' spirit home to Naquaqua, starting at the place he was struck and killed.
We miss him. He disappeared for a long time. We thought he just left. And we never really got to deal with or to take care of her spirit and bring him home.
Who was Stanley Morris Peters Jr.? He was a lot of things to a lot of people. Described as fun-loving, a logger, his dad, Stanley Sr.
Most of the time he spent his time in the mountain. He enjoyed that kind of life like I did. He said, I enjoy myself because I'm free.
His brother, Tim.
He taught me how to box, even though me being the youngest. I went up the mountain with him, and he showed me some spots where I've never ever been before, and I couldn't believe it. I used to have so much fun, you know, it was all about fun.
He always liked doing this to us when we were babies.
His daughter, Sally.
We turned around, laid on the beach, and we were looking at the stars. And he was talking about the Milky Way and everything. And so, yeah, he loved talking about the stars.
And what's the final question? What is Stanley Peters' legacy? Bernadette finds comfort in this poem, a gift from her sister-in-law.
You are living in the hearts and memories of every life you ever touched. I know where you are. You are in the mist and the storm clouds. You are in the brightest, hottest sunshine. You are the beginning and ending of a perfect day. Well done, my mighty friend. You can rest now in peace. We all know where you are.